Hello, everyone. I just want to make a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, and if any members of the public would like to sign up for public comment, please do so now. In the chat feature, just put your name and that you'd like to give public comment. And away we go. Evelyn, it's for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm on vacation, so I'm a little disorganized this morning, so I beg for your patience. All right, so welcome everyone. Good morning. I'm going to start with the opening remarks, and we'll move on through the minutes and the contracts. So let's get started. So for today, the trustees of the Boston Public Library reaffirm our commitment to racial equity and to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion more broadly. The library is formally committed to becoming an anti-racist organization in response to systemic racism, inequity, and injustice prevalent in our society. We acknowledge also that the Boston Public Library Central Library stands on land that it was once a water-based ecosystem providing sustenance for the indigenous Massachusetts people, and is a place which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among nations. We are committed to land acknowledgements for all locations at which we operate. We reaffirm this commitment to set the context for planning, deliberations, and public engagement will take place from the spirit of welcome and respect found in our motto, free to all. All right. With that, we move to the minutes.
Roll call.
Roll call. You're right. Sorry.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Pamela.
All right. I'm just going to read last names. Arana Ortiz.
Here.
Arenas.
Here.
Bal.
Here.
Hyler. Hawkins will be joining after the roll call is taken. Leonard.
Here.
And Rush.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. We have a quorum. Back to you, Evelyn.
All right. Approval of the minutes. Can I please get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Roll call, please, Pamela.
Sorry. Arana Ortiz.
Yes.
Arenas.
Yes.
Bal.
Yes.
Hawkins. Hyler. You on? No. Leonard
Yes.
and Rush.
Yes.
So moved.
All right. Minutes approved. All right. Let's go through the contracts. So we have Beth and Kurt on the docket. Good morning.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Miss Beth.
Kurt, are you leading this one or do I?
Either way, I'm happy to lead if you would like me to.
Sure, go for it, and I'll fill in color commentary as needed.
All right, great. So we're looking to initiate a contract with Lyrasis, and Lyrasis is a company that supports software called Collection Space, which is an open source software. But Lyrasis provides hosting for it and support for people who are looking to implement it. And so the contract consists of $25,000 that would go towards the initial setup of the software, the configuration, data migration, and training to make sure that we can successfully implement the software. And then we are also going to leverage them for hosting, which is going to cost around $9,000 a year. Part of the selection process, we looked at other kind of museum focused collection management softwares out there that were a lot more expensive and not necessarily providing additional features that we needed. So we saw Collection Space as really fitting our need for the right cost level, and also we reviewed their security practices and like backup procedures, and felt that it was a strong option for us to move forward. to. And so that's what we're looking for, just approval to move forward with that implementation, and specifically the contract with Lyrasis to support us in the implementation of that software.
Right, Kurt, couple questions. So on the, because it's open source, did you do a security vetting on the software?
Yeah, so we did kind of a high level one. We didn't go too in depth. This is a software that's used heavily by a lot of other organizations. I think, Beth, you might be able to list off more of them. I know Boston Athenaeum is one of them. You know, there are some security issues that I saw. Like there's the security of passwords isn't as strict as I would like them to be. So, you know, as kind of a recommendation that I made was to make sure that our staff are using more secure passwords. You know, so there was kind of some feedback based on that, but we didn't do like an in-depth like code analysis type level, just a high level review of what their definition of their security practices were.
Since we're requesting a hosting of the software, do they have their data centers certified in any way, like SOC 2 or anything?
So they are using AWS for hosting.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. What are the questions I can think of? So this software is only for staff use. This is not public facing.
It's for both.
It's for both.
Yeah, so it's the management of, it's primarily the arts department that's driving this. It's just more unique material, so it's better to have a system that's focused on that. And this is more museum focused, so it aligns better with that type of material. And so the patrons could search for a specific piece, and meanwhile staff are managing the content and metadata related to every piece.
And with a little background here, so some of you who've been on the board for a while may remember that we did a major collection inventory of our arts collections, meaning our visual materials. So those were done over a period of, I think, 4 years, where we presented to the trustees a number of years ago. We have over 130,000 prints, drawings, works on paper, and then we also inventoried our photography collection. And so all of that content was data that we didn't have, but is currently stored in Excel spreadsheets. And so while it is very, it has come a long way in terms of gathering data. What we really need is a relational database, starting with our staff. Evelyn, to your question, this would be staff facing to begin with, because we need our staff to be able to manage our collections. It is very difficult to manage collections using spreadsheets, both because there isn't normalization and standardization of data in Excel in the same way there is using something like collection space, but then also over time. You know, we would not launch with any kind of public interface until we have the staff component set, because we really need that to administer the collection. It's most significant right now because we know as we move toward the reopening of the special collections reading room, we need to track that material more effectively, and we need to be able to support patron requests. And so Kristen Parker, our manager of the arts, Eve Niger, our lead archivist, and others did a lot of interviewing of various institutions who are working with this. We use Archive. We also just implemented Archive Space, which is another product that Lyrasis also owns. And so this is again, we believe that this is both cost effective, but also really fits our needs in the short term. We hope to launch a public facing portal down the line within a year or two, but that's not how we're going to lead.
So, okay, so that leads me to another question. So it sounds like this is kind of modular. So they have like various modules that you just tack on, it sounds like. Is that right, Beth?
Yes.
because you say you're using another module. So on this module, is it only for?
Oh,
Go ahead.
so this is a different product. So Archive Space is a different
This is a
product. that
different
Lyris-
product that
This
they
is a
have.
completely
Okay.
different product. There is integration between the two, which is very useful to us, especially as we look, to how, because a lot of collections cross over. But this is a separate product. And so the fee of $25,000 is to actually purchase the product. And then there would be the $9,000 annually to support it.
And then the content manage the collection. What is it all the arts inventory that's going to go into the software or only partial?
We're looking to put all of it in. The goal is to get everything migrated from the spreadsheets, which has been a lot of work looking at what that process looks like, how clean our data is, what are some things that we would need to scrub before we send, but we've already done a lot of that work to understand what is migrating, but the goal is to get everything in there.
That was actually one of my
Got it.
questions, Beth, is what does it take to actually migrate from Excel to this system? Because that seems like that might be a bit of a challenge.
They've been doing a lot of work on mapping what the fields are that we've collected.
Okay.
So there has been a lot of pre-work that was done before we decided to move forward with this contract to understand, can we migrate our fields? Is the data structure that we have appropriate? And by and large it is. And so, we recognize there's going to be a good amount of cleanup. There always is when you do something like this. And, the inventory was the inventory. It wasn't, it was about getting maximum amount of information in there, but not necessarily according to a standardized form. And so I think this is going to be our next major step for that.
So basically 25,000 to do this. You guys have done your homework, and 9,000 annually, and you feel like this will put you in a better position.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question, given everything I'm reading and experiencing, any concerns about staffing at the organization?
No, we're actually growing, and especially in the arts team. I think we have the staff we need. We are doing some additional hiring, but I think we have the staff we need on site within the arts team. I know we're still, in terms of the CTO search, that's still underway, but Kurt has been incredibly helpful kind of getting us to this point, and we feel that we can successfully handle the migration piece of it. We will need ongoing support from IT, but I think we're in a good place to do this because we did so much pre-work on it.
Yeah, I actually meant at the company that you're.
Oh, in terms of Lyrasis?
Yeah, just in terms of the resources you're able to provide.
Oh, and Kurt, I don't know. We use Lyrasis we have a relationship with Lyrasis, I think, certainly we've had a very good responsiveness in terms of archive space. And we haven't seen any issues with regard to either training or configuration, any kind of customization, because we started to do a little customization with archive space. We've had a really good experience with them. Their training was outstanding, which I think is a component that we were really interested in.
Great.
When you decide to open, to do the launch to, for public facing, do you need additional software to do that?
We actually have that. We do. We have that software purchased. It's called, and I don't want to go too far down another technology path, but it's called Aon. It's already purchased, and it is a product that will essentially provide materials tracking. And we are positioned now. We are in the process. Actually, our public services librarian position has been filled, and the person is starting. Her name is Kathleen Monahan, and she is starting on next Tuesday. And this is actually her area of expertise. She joins us from BC, and she actually was responsible for BC's implementation of Aon. And so that will be another component. So this spring will be about getting our technology platforms in place to provide the best public service that we can.
Got it. No, and the reason I ask is, it's like, okay, is there going to be another ask for more money so when we launch? But it sounds like it's probably just the integration of the two, right?
I'm not anticipating, I mean, who can anticipate anything right now?
I know.
But I'm not anticipating any additional major technology asks. This, we had mapped this out, that this was sort of the final piece of our, I don't know if it's a stool or a chair, I think, but for us to try
Yeah, I
and,
got it.
to get all the components ready. So, and that they would speak to each other. That was a big consideration for us, that we know that we have multiple departments who track their materials using multiple platforms, and we needed everything to work together.
Okay.
Just a point of clarification, so Aon is specifically used to request to view an item in person. So the searching of the thing that you want to view is done elsewhere. But that's kind of the end piece of the puzzle is, okay, I found the thing that I want to do research on. Now I want to go and view it. I'm going to use Aon to request that that item and time and viewing room is available.
Any more questions? No more questions? All right, so we need to vote these individually. So can I please get a motion?
Moved.
Second,
Second.
a roll call.
Yes, and I just want to note that John Heiler, as you heard him already, he's joined the group. It's my apologies. He was in as an attendee and was not promoted. So he was in when I did the roll call. Arana Ortiz,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Val,
Approved.
Heiler,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
and Rush.
Yes.
So moved.
All right, let's, should we, Beth, since you're on the docket, do you want to go to the next one? So like flip the ones, and then Michael, sorry, Mike going last since we have Beth speaking through this.
Sure. So I'm going to,
Beth,
so you'd
yeah.
like me to go to C? Okay.
Yeah,
So item C is the recommendation to approve a contract for Hepzibah Rappaport Consulting. This is for the Founding Research Collection project. This is a project funded through an anonymous donation to the Boston Public Library Fund and the Associates of the Boston Public Library to do a major project to clean, inventory, catalog, store, and provide access to hundreds of thousands of items from what we call our Founding Research Collection, which are the earliest materials sort of collected as research materials by the BPL. We conducted an RFP process, and so requested vendors to submit a proposal listing both their qualifications and their prior experience. And based on that, we made a selection for Hepzibah Rappaport. She goes by Hepsi, and we are really excited about her joining us as a consultant. This would be for a 2-year contract. Her experience includes she's a library and museum specialist. She started her career at Brandeis and the Rose Art Museum. And she worked in preservation first before working in collection management and registration. She's been at the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum, Houghton Library, which is the Rare Books and Manuscripts Library at Harvard, and Revolutionary. She's most recently at Revolutionary Spaces, where she has just overseen a major collection move and workflow creation. So we feel really fortunate to have had her apply. We have approval of the bid, we met her in person and did a walkthrough of the spaces, and so we're looking forward to getting her on board. The expectation is that she would be working at the library pretty much full time for the next 2 years, helping us project manage this major project. We're really excited about both this phase of it, and then we're also very mindful that the success of this phase is being seen as a pilot by the anonymous donor, and if we're successful with this, which I feel absolutely confident we will be, that we will get additional funding to continue this work on additional components of the collection.
so let me ask you a question. So do the donor establish success metrics in order to, to do more funding?
So the proposal that we put forward was that we would approach the first 150,000 items of the collection. And so the scope of work includes the fact that those collections are cleaned, that those collections are discoverable publicly, that those collections are stored appropriately, and that they are also then accessible to the public should they be requested. And so we will have milestone check-ins on where we are, but that is our goal, to have that work completed. I think there also is an expectation that, given the world that we're living in right now, we set timeframes and metrics that are based on, this proposal was written over a year ago. When we first applied for funding. Obviously, things continue to change, and I think there is flexibility on the part of hitting time, exact timelines, but really that is our goal, and I feel confident with Hepsi at the helm that we are going to meet those goals. We will do regular reporting. There's an expectation for annual reporting, and there will be metrics that are involved with that.
All right. Any more questions? No? All right. So can I please get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Sure. Arano Ortiz,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Bao,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
and Rush.
Yes.
So moved.
Approved. All right, Michael.
Thank you, everyone, and good morning. While I'm going to give you kind of a bit of an overview. While I'm doing that, Jay, could you promote Evan English to the panel so he can answer any questions? Evan is in charge of our digital services team right now, and he can provide some more context for you if you have further questions. This is the next phase of a project we're doing through the Library for the Commonwealth around neighborhood newspapers, both in Boston and across the state. And this phase is to do some post-processing on newspapers that we have already digitized through a partnership with a company called MyHeritage. And this pilot project is focusing on newspapers between the mid-1800s and mid-1900s in a lot of local Boston neighborhood newspapers that are not available online. We had the work that has already been done is MyHeritage has been providing us with digitized files of all of these newspapers that they have been digitizing for use in their product. And then they give us a copy of the files for us to keep. But the problem is that in this format, they're not really searchable or available for in the right format to be available for the public. So this proposal is really to, it's a pilot project to work with a company to do a certain number of these newspapers, have them become searchable, make them available through both Digital Commonwealth and the Library of Congress's newspaper portal. I can have Evan speak to why we selected this particular company. And then the hope is, excuse me, after this pilot, which will be completed in June of 2022, we'll do an RFP to do the complete project. This project is to do just a portion of it to see how it works, and then we'll do a larger project. So Evan, do you want to just talk briefly about the company?
Sure, Michael, thank you. And good morning, everybody, and thanks for having me. So the company that we've selected for this project is a pretty widely known company that does a lot of newspaper digitization projects for a lot of U.S. libraries that are working with the Library of Congress's National Digital Newspaper Platform or Digital Newspaper Program. So they're well known. They've most recently we've been talking with the Providence Public Library that they've been working with. So we did get a couple of different quotes from a few different vendors for this project, and CCS had the best price, basically. So it allows us to get the most amount of content for our money, essentially. So that's why we're going with them. But they have a strong reputation and a lot of experience, and we feel good about moving forward with them.
And again, this is a pilot project that will then, if we do a longer multi-year project, which is our hope and our intention, we would do a full RFP for that.
What's the funding source for this?
So there's a couple for the pilot project. There's a grant that's already in place that pays for some salaries of digital services employees. So the offset of that funding is it's about $46,000 would be where the funding would come from for the contract.
Any more questions from the committee?
And that is, I'm sorry, that is Library for the Commonwealth funding.
Questions from the committee? No? All right. So can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Reckle?
Roll call.
I have no
Arano-
idea what I meant to say there. Evelyn, yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Bao,
Yes.
Heiler,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
and Rush.
Yes.
All set.
Great,
right,
thank
so
you.
that's-
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you. Thank you both. All right, that wraps up the contracts. Do we have any new business?
This isn't new business, but I was taking a look at the minutes and was reminded that we had talked about, just wanted to get an update if we are going to be re-procuring the auditor. We had talked about that last fall.
Yeah, it's interesting you should bring it up. We just had a conversation before trustees about the timeline to put that out. So I
Okay.
expect we'll bring that before the trustees in the March or the May meeting.
Awesome.
And so Ellen, question. So because we have our next committee meeting, it's in March 8th.
Yes.
And then I think the trustees meet after that. So are you gonna have an update for this committee or for the full board?
So I think right now, we're not quite sure if we'll have it for the May meeting or the March meeting. We'll try for March, but we might be a little tight right now. But we will have it out so that we can have a new one to take over. Or
Okay.
re-award to the same company. I should have a new contract regardless of who the vendor is.
Got it. Okay. Any other new business from the committee?
Evelyn, I just want to
All
let you know, Evelyn, I'm sorry, I just wanted to let it be known that Jeff joined the meeting and I didn't acknowledge him. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Welcome, Jeff. All right. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment? Pamela, you're on mute. Talk it away.
That's a good thing. I believe we do not, but let me just double check it one last time to make sure. No, we do not have anyone that signed up.
All right. Before I let you all go, we have our next meeting. It's on March 8th, 8:30, again, virtual. And with that, we adjourn.
And don't forget, next week is our full board meeting, next Tuesday. Yes.
Yes. All right.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Stay warm.
Bye-bye.
all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone have a great
Bye.
day.
Stay warm. Bye-bye.